Hi everyone, my name is Patrick Akil and joining me today is Femke Cornelissen, Chief Copilot over at Vortel, Microsoft MVP and Real Community Builder. Our topic for the day is AI, Copilot and enhancing productivity. And I'm convinced we're all going to get AI superpowers. It's just a matter of when. What it's going to look like, I have no clue, but that's exactly what we discussed this episode. So enjoy.
I think a lot of people want to have like agents and want to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You can start small, you can make it bigger in a time. But they say it's like no code, so everyone can start really easy. Just like build like a document library and put an agent on it and finding out how you can use it and make it better. Like I think you can do that like in a few minutes. But when you really want to go in deeper processes, it's more difficult, of course.
Okay.
And that's another way. But I think a lot of people, and that is what people are searching for at this moment, is what can I do actually? And are there some good practices already, or what did other people already? I saw some article this week in the nu.nl, and they all saying like, okay, the agent is going to get our job and going to get our work done in the upcoming time, and everyone wants to start with it.
Yeah.
I don't see that everyone already starting. I think people start really small. Starting, for example, with M365 Copilot, learning how to prompt, learning how to use, and then start as well with some really great processes where they can put agents in. After that, they make it way bigger. So it's good to have like a roadmap and thinking about, okay, what kind of use cases are the best one?
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of people think by themselves, I'm going to use this and I'm going to build this. But it's really good to think about the position of the company. So what are we want to achieve with each other? What are our problems? Is it like we cannot have enough new people, or we want to do it with lower cost, or we want to be a better and funnier company? I don't know. You can think about a lot of things. And then when you know what are the purpose of that company, then you can think about, okay, why are we going to use AI in what kind of way? So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that companies make is don't put it on the C-level agenda.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things that you probably really need to do. Understand why are we doing this? Because 78% of the people in companies already using something like an AI tool.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
No.
So all the and that's from the Work Trend Index from Microsoft from last year. Some data. But yeah, I think it's really I think it's really needed to be on C-level. Understanding what it can and knowing what the problems or the things that we want to achieve with the company, and then say, okay, we're going to make a roadmap and how are we going to use it and bring it to your people and helping them to make next steps, because everyone is already doing it and everyone is already using it or to use something with your data. And sometimes I think every company have people who don't know that is the problem at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that people are looking towards AI tools for their own productivity, right?
Yeah.
And if it's not integrated in an organization, then it's definitely there somewhere on kind of shadow IT or a side track. Someone's
Shadow
browser.
AI.
Shadow AI, yeah, exactly. But for me, when I look at kind of Copilot and the integration in all the Microsoft tools that it can be, I still see people heavily relying on Excel.
Yeah.
I see people heavily relying on email communication, many online meetings nowadays with follow-ups and tasks in different systems. Yeah. Like if those can be analyzed, also interlinked with regards to data as kind of a knowledge base, then I can see definitely a productivity increase. It's just I haven't seen organizations really kind of encapsulate that within AI and then be effective with it. I don't know if it's already at that point maturity-wise from a tooling perspective where they can. Then it's more the organization's side, or if it's a tooling problem.
Yeah, I think it can. And it's not only I think, I know it can, but I think I see organizations just start like really small and they give some licenses and they say, okay, good luck with it. But this is a really tough change because you need to work really different every day.
Yeah.
And it's like a habit to do. So you change like your way of work, and what people don't want to do is changing. So when you have like the right scenarios, and when people really know why are we doing this and what are we going to achieve, that works really well. And of course, a lot of people really need to know how to prompt, for example. Prompting is one of the things that, we all know that we need to learn. But we as a human think about that AI already know what we want. So learning how we can use Copilot, for example, and how Copilot works and what it can, but also what it not can, is really important.
Yeah.
And I see companies that starting with some strategy on it, and after that, like an adoption program where the people who are going to start with Copilot really get their help with coaching and people programs that people helping each other and bringing some success stories to each other, and then you're gonna see that like things happening that we don't expect in the first hand, because someone from sales has finding out something new that he can do, and it makes him like 4 hours to 2 hours, and that's our success stories.
Yeah.
So it's good to get an ROI on it, and sometimes that's really hard because it's a product from like 1 year right now. So how long does it take to get a right ROI and knowing what it achieve? And it evolves really fast because like almost every day there are some new features or things you could do and cannot do anymore, or the other way around.
Yeah.
It's good to look back and see, okay, what did it achieve now and what are we going to do in the future with it? And as well, just jump on that train, I think, and finding out and start learning how to use it. And I also see like companies that are like not that far of don't want to start already and just want to wait. And of course that's good for them. But there are so many things that happening, and there are so many things that changing, that I think is really nice and really good to start with a few people at least, to get them on board, learning about it, because like the adoption is really, I think, really hard. And I see that the same like years ago with moving to the cloud.
Yeah.
It was a real different way. And then we have the corona and we need it and everything accepted. But before that, it was like everyone doing on the same way that they always did, because we don't want to change. So we need something that we all need this. But it's like, I think it's really like every day there needs to be something that people get involved and knowing that they can use Copilot and where they can use it for their role and how it helped them, specifically on their role. Yeah,
I can see how adoption for me is super interesting, and maybe it's because I'm more of a tech savvy person. I think you are as well. I get excited when there's new technology, even if it's physical or more digital. It excites me, and I don't really think about, let's say, fear of usage. I try and have more of an experimental mindset. But I can see that if your processes in a company have been there for years and this thing comes out which is truly disruptive, then it's kind of a fear of adoption can definitely be there. Also from a personal perspective, if all of a sudden my emails are going to be read by this AI tool, and then whatever I do in Excel or Word is also going to be there, it's like, I'm basically in a business context, I'm fully naked. Everything is bare. And if I feel like people can see everything, at least this AI tool can,
Yeah.
which means that also if I'm going to use it, all my mistakes are going to be either amplified or going to be shown. Or if I make mistakes with any of it, is it then going to be me or is it going to be this tool?
Yeah.
Like those are all
Those
adoption
are
challenges.
Challenges,
Yeah.
I understand that, but I don't. Yeah, I think it's the same now with your email, or the same now with your.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
so
enough.
it's something in your mind. Yeah, and the same thing is like, I don't know if you know Delph. Do you know that tool? It's a tool in Microsoft, and years ago,
Yeah.
Delph shows in what kind of documents you have some rights. So if you look at a colleague of you, you put his profile in, then you saw these are the documents that your colleague worked on the last like 5 hours. But everyone was like, what? Why can you see what I do?
Oh.
But that's why you have the same rights on that document. So you can see everything where everyone is working on, only the things that you already have some rights on. Of emails that you have together, or some documents that you shared with each other. And the same happens with like Copilot. If you ask something, for example, what is the salary of my boss? I would say something like that. It could be that something is popping up because you have the rights on that document.
Yeah.
So a lot of things change, and a lot of people has fear on that as well, because they think everything what I use right now can people see, and that's not true. But there are companies that don't have it all right. And need to do some stuff really soon to get it all on the right way, and they can start, for example, with this kind of AI tools.
Yeah, interesting. If your access management is already not really up to par, then it gets amplified because information is accessible. More so than it used to be.
Yeah, and it was already.
Yeah.
But now it's popped up.
It's easier accessible.
Yeah, and I think this as well from the Corona time, that people really moved fast forward to the cloud and using Teams, for example, and that kind of things. That they never cleaned up, or
no.
And as well some documents like that are really old also popping up. You don't want all the. You only want to have like the information that is right now on this time for you really valuable. So that's another thing. Like we have so many documents and so many information. What kind of information do you want that Copilot hits for you?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things there that you can use, and you can put in place.
Do you need to think about kind of all of that in advance, or can you start small and kind of experiment your way through it and hit your own sweet spot?
You can start small. Yes, you can start small with different use cases, for example, and see what kind of people have there, what kind of rights have they. But you also can say like, okay, we want all this kind of documents. They call it the SharePoint sites. This SharePoint sites can we put in for Copilot, and only this one we want to use, or the other way around. So you can always start really small, and then after let it grow.
What would the smallest use case be then? Because what I'm imagining is sometimes, and this can be on Confluence, but definitely also on SharePoint, I know there's a document, I just have no way of finding it. Like I know the content, I know kind of the context. If I use search, I get many other documents that are not the one I'm looking for. Like that would be for me the prime use case. If all of a sudden I can find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the first one you would tackle.
I think it's do you know, for everyone is different, right? When you search for something on the same tenant than I search, we both have a different document probably that pops up.
Yeah.
But it's like learning about what you want, like the prompts about that document. I think that's one. So that's from the adoption side. And the second, is about how many documents you already have, and do you clean up all that kind of stuff, and what is the version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we put on. But the right prompt, I think, is most important to find a really good documents. And there are a few things that you can think about. There is like always be really nice to Copilot. That's one of the things that you always need to do. It really helps. And the second is, okay, what do we want to achieve? For example, if I want to have a document or I want some things about a document, I can say, okay, I'm searching for this, I'm looking for bullet points, or I'm looking for this subject. I worked in this document the last 2 weeks, or I worked in this document somewhere in June last year.
Oh, okay.
All that kind of information is really valuable.
And that will be one, let's say, longer prompt as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can put it in a longer prompt, and then the search will be way better than only say, I'm searching for. And that's the adoption part. And I mean, we don't know how to use it, Copilot, on the right way. And we think Copilot already know because we're working in so many documents already, and we'll understand we want that document. And that's not true. Yeah.
It's interesting because the human language aspect, I feel like that's what makes prompting harder. Like immediately when you said, okay, you can say these things, I was like, okay, you can do like a workflow builder where you ask these types of questions.
Yeah.
But then anything else is kind of not in that workflow unless you actually have it in the workflow.
Yeah.
So the natural language is always going to be most powerful, but then indeed you need to be, I feel like, very specific and expanded in what you're looking for. That's the challenge.
Yeah, and the other one is like not only asking one question, I want this, but the other one is like, okay, what are the next steps?
Okay.
Why do you want a document? So is the next step that you want a document because you want something out of it? Or do you want, what is the thing that you really want to achieve with that document?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can think about at first hand already why you want that. So, for example, with like a meeting, we are meeting together in Teams, and we have Copilot on, and then I can say, give me the summarize of this meeting. Why I want a summarize of this meeting. I want a management report, or want a management bullets from our next steps, from our marketing plan. I don't know. I can think a lot of things. What probably is why I want to summarize from the meeting, or like I have a customer appointments in Teams, and I just want to send the customer all the information that I said that I'm going to do and what I want to achieve from that customer. That's different than only asking, give me a summary of this meeting.
Yeah.
And everyone do, give me a summary of this meeting, because that's like,
that's what you want, but not necessarily why. Yeah.
But I really want an email already, or want something that it's already in place, and not just working by myself on it to make it an email. So a lot of people don't know and don't understand that you can do that in front already by knowing what you want to achieve at the end.
Yeah.
So you put what you want to achieve in the end in the beginning, so you get better results. Because then Copilot understands what you want.
Yeah. It's interesting. I immediately thought of, okay, how we do product development is also understanding why we do things and then what needs to be done. And then sometimes even we discuss how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
If you all fit that in a prompt, then it's exactly the same as defining what features you want in a product. Except, talking about what is the most easy. It's the shortest. We don't have time anyways.
Yeah.
So everything needs to be fast. But I think taking the time and kind of giving the context as you would to another human that's like new might be most effective then.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see a lot of kind of companies jumping on this workplace automation, I would say, bandwagon. Microsoft is definitely there with Copilot. I love the name Copilot. I think it's genius marketing.
Do you know how many Copilots there are?
I have no clue.
108.
That is ridiculous. 108 is insane. I see Google doing the same because Google obviously has their Drive, their email. They also have a beautiful workplace automation kind of use case. I see companies like Miro also jumping on that, which started as a digital whiteboard. Now they kind of encapsulate whatever comes out of a session, summarize it. They also have kind of a Word template or Excel template generator. It's like, wow, everyone is kind of on this race to do workplace automation. And I think it's really cool. Do you know kind of which company is far in ahead, or is everything kind of equal with regards to tools and functionalities and development?
I think it's a good question, and I don't really know who is the most far of it, because I'm just focusing on literally Microsoft toolings. But there are a few things that I really like. For example, from Google is the LMS. What I did last month was generating a podcast. I don't know if you
I've done that. Yeah, absolutely.
That kind of things. But that's. I think there are a lot of absolutely great tools in every different products of the different companies that you mentioned. But when I see like Microsoft toolings, there are companies that really far in this. So they are starting like 1.5 years ago with an early access program and started right there. They scaling up in the use of Copilot. And they're, I don't know, in the Netherlands I think they're a little bit behind.
Okay.
So I see it more like in the Nordics.
Okay.
And the funny thing there is that they have like something in general, like that why it's there is because they need something from government's perspective to get the data already earlier already prepared for something like this. I don't know how it really is, but there is something like they are way front of us farther than we are in the Netherlands, because the data things we have like NIS and we have all kind of things that in the Netherlands that we where a lot of customers are working on and need to be from government perspective need to be set. But there is also something in the Nordics as well. But that means like there it means like they are way far than we are, because they have some more steps in data security and data governance. And we have so many companies that still need to do that before they really can make big steps in Copilot.
Interesting.
And I don't know how that is in Miro or Google, or I think the same problems. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think so. For me, the part of responsibilities also comes with adoption, because if I now generate content, like generating content on existing documents, I feel like is different than generating an answer out of nothing, out of a large language model, which is kind of what I do with ChatGPT. Yeah. If I think of, okay, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to brainstorm with something, that's my buddy, basically. Yes. That's what I do it with. Yeah. But if it's based on a document, and that document is like everything of my organization, basically, or at least a subset, then I feel like that's closer to the truth, but it can still have mistakes. Yeah. So then whatever content is generated through that, if I use it and it has mistakes, I feel like it's going to either, I don't know if people are going to lose kind of that sense of ownership of that or that responsibility, but I wonder what happens when mistakes or errors do occur, and if people are going to finger point or if people are going to actually take ownership, because in the end, the Copilot is something that enables a person. So I think the responsibility is still there. This is the person. Yeah. But also, if a lot of things go right and then a few things go wrong, it's like, it's out of my control.
Yeah, true. And if you like thinking about you work like 40 hours in a week, I don't know if that's, but if you can say, okay, I can do the same in like 35 hours or 30 hours, or I have more creativity, or I have more time for other things to do as well. Yeah, then I'm thinking about, okay, really great. This is a great job that we are doing with each other. And I don't care if it's AI or it's me that generated it, or the fun thing is, I think for me, is like the same as you, just has a buddy that helps me to be creative, or I need to say I'm also talking with it all day in the car. Hi, buddy, how are you? Yeah. And then I have some thoughts, and then I'm thinking about, okay, I just want to start like a LinkedIn post about this subject, and I think this is really important for me. And this is why I am doing this. And then ChatGPT or Copilot comes away and say, okay, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And then it's just a starting point. And then like 1.5 hour later, I have my post that I want to post.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's not like the whole post that I want, like 100%, because I'm still putting my things in it, and it's like a concept. But I think like why I'm just saying this is I think a lot of people still have in their minds it's not good to use AI, because it's not myself, and you see like a lot of content that is AI generated as well. So I think you need to learn how you can use it on the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not feels like AI generated, but it helps you with so many skills like learning, be a creative, more person, or do things faster than before.
Yeah.
And one of the things that is also really interesting is thinking about the next generation that is coming to the fields. Because when I see my kids, I have 2 young kids. They're sitting on their iPads and they're scrolling, and they say they have the feeling that everything needs to come to them. And I see that as well with the next generation that is coming to the field right now. We want that everything is coming to us. And I think when I think about the agents and all that kind of stuff, this is something for the next generation as well for us. But I think really for the next generation, that you're gonna say, okay, I found this email. And I know what your answer will be. I made this already for you. What do you think? Okay, I'm fine. Send it. I think that's what we want, and I think that's the future.
Interesting. Yeah. It's very different from how I grew up in what was possible, right? If you want something, you go get it yourself, you do your own research, then it sticks, then you know for the future. The knowledge part is already now solved. If you have a question, you ask it, you get an answer. The validity of that answer, you don't even question anymore, because the accuracy gets higher and higher. And at some point you build a confidence with something and you're like, yeah, this is the answer. Same as a Google search. I don't really question it. I might try a different few articles. There's definitely selection bias, because if I think something and I see it, then that's a confirmation. I should say confirmation bias. But I feel like it's going to be amplified with generated content then as well.
Yeah.
I think definitely a younger generation is going to be helping kind of move an organization, because out of the box already in, I think, high school and a university educational journey, people are already using it.
Yeah.
There's nothing against using it. I think definitely already use it. I had a person 2 days ago on the podcast, Marcel, and he said that, like, I don't even care if it's spelled the right way. Like, if the essence is there, if the content is there, then sure, let an AI tool fix the spelling for you. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. It's about the essence rather than the format. And it used to be all about the format, and the format needed to be correct because we didn't have anything else.
So one of the things that is also interesting is like, because I had like promptathon a few weeks ago at the Microsoft office, and it was with the school with some teachers. And when you think about, okay, we had like a discussion about, can students use AI for their school?
Yeah.
And of course, there were a few saying, no, it doesn't going to happen. I don't want that, because they want to learn by themselves. But there were also others who said, okay, yes, I wanted them, let them use it, because then we make them ready for the future. We make them ready for the next step in their career. We need to learn them how to use it creative, so they can use it, but as well learning from it and know what's in it and why they do it in that way. So what we did with a promptathon, and it was really funny, was like asking Copilot to give questions and answers in a way, if it's like some famous people or someone like you can say we want, like someone who you want to learn from. You can say like Steve Jobs, or you can say like someone from history classes. I don't know. You can think about everything. And if you use Copilot for that and can say, okay, why do you did this, and answer it in the way of that kind of person you want.
Yeah.
And they were really like, what? So they learned by using like Copilot, learning by giving some answers in their classroom, and as well giving the why are they doing that on a real funny way, because the answers were really amazing. And what we did as well is not only that, we did also an how do you say that, when you are in a room and you want to go out,
I don't know,
like a game.
Okay, like an escape room.
Yeah, you can also do like in Copilot, say, okay, make an escape room.
Oh wow.
On like the studio that we are today, and this is how it sees, and I'm with this person, and I want to learn prompting. So if you say something like that, Copilot makes like an escape room, and you can work together to get out of it.
Nice.
So that's again, I think more the adoption type of things. We don't know what we can do, and we don't know how we can use it, and what kind of type of roles. And I think for developers is different, for security people is different, for people who are at schools and the teachers who want to have more time with the students, making a creative way of content. Want to inform the parents better. I don't know. You can think about a lot of different scenarios in this case. And it's really fun that there are so many ways that you can use, and that we need to be creative to give that to others.
Yeah, I think especially in education and with young people, even younger and younger, like it's such a unique way to then educate people. Like I definitely had a preference. My preference was anything gamified. I would learn from faster than anything else. That's the reason why I can speak English the way I do, is because English was always there because of video games and like media there. In Netherlands, nothing is dubbed anyway. Like everything is English with subtitles. And I would always bother my parents and be like, can you translate this, because I'm stuck, basically. And I don't understand what it says because I don't understand the language. So that was for me really a leg up in this English language in education. I feel like whatever kind of makes young people tick, what gets them excited, is also a way to stimulate their educational journey.
True.
And by means of being that kind of, I think generated content, it allows for that flexibility that I think we're kind of missing currently in educational journeys. They're very standardized. They're tailor-made. I think with tablets and like digital transformation, that has become better. Like you can go faster than your peers. It can be a bit more custom, but still it's very much workflow oriented. It's very much in certain brackets. With this now, it's like, the world is your oyster. You just have to think about it.
You can be where you want to be.
Yeah, I think that's very exciting.
One of the things that I do is Women in Cyber program and a Women in AI program that I'm going to start this year as well. And what it is like the Women in Cyber program is women that are not ready in the fields but want to start with something like security. Because they think, okay, I really want to know more about that. Probably is something for my next job, but I don't know where to start. So we made like an 8-week program for women with different Microsoft partners, where they have like a certification, and after that probably can start. You can think about people that are dentists or like working in a shop, or all kind of different roles all come together. So it's really fun. And now we also have like Women in AI program. And the fun fact is also there is like you can learn everything what you want. And it doesn't matter where you're from. And the same is what we see like in that 8-week program. Everyone, okay, we have mentoring, we have people around, everybody helping each other. And it's real great to have like a community that everyone is supporting each other, and you're in the same way, because everyone is new.
That's exciting.
It's exciting. And they are all using like as well Copilot or ChatGPT or what kind of way AI to make them learning in like 8 weeks.
Wow.
And some of them started like with women in cyber and now want to go into women in AI, and they want to build Azure OpenAI, and they want to do for more like different AI tools, try to find out if they can do something by themselves or in insecurity wise. So I think also with the comments of AI and as well like different programs and community stuff, it's really fun to see that it's that evolving and that everyone have the feeling that they can be who they want to be, and they have tools around to help them to
and
get
enable
there
them
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And fun fact is like 285 women were in the last 3 years program for the women in cyber. And I don't know, but I think if we're going to start with women in AI, probably it will be massive. I think that's I believe that that's something that's really can be big, because I think everyone wants to start but don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And see that like AI is something that you need in your career, or you need to start somewhere. And I think that's as well the problem is that people don't know. Still don't know where to start.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. If a program offers that, it's what people are looking for, right? You see everything out there. It's just this stepping stone of starting is usually the hardest for people.
Yeah.
I know it's definitely for me. I feel like once I've started something, it's easier to keep going, but starting is the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite tool?
I honestly use ChatGPT for almost everything. It's like my partner said, have you used it to like research stuff for podcasting? I was like, I didn't even think about that. But now I've started doing that. It's like for content, it's for guests, it's for kind of ideas more and more. Now I've done a first year as product manager. So also for product, understanding the domain, doing discovery work, brainstorming. I'm still trying to kind of tread the line of giving enough information and context without giving any confidential information. Like that's always a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's also because it's not really an adopted tool in an organization, because otherwise you can accommodate for that.
Yeah.
So that's, we have also within Xebia, we have this Slack bot. It's called Slack GPT.
Oh.
So it's easily accessible in Slack. You just send a message, you get answers back. Like if you want to do any image generation, you can do through there as well. So it's like a nice funnel for everything.
Nice.
Yeah, I always experiment with it. It's like a kind of a second brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've always had that as a kid also, like that curiosity. Except I feel like adults didn't really have time or attention. Like if a kid asks why a million times, then at some point you're out. But I feel like with this, I can do that over and over again. And we can keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, I do the same, like also ChatGPT, but also when I'm in the car, don't listen any music anymore. Like I always say, hi ChatGPT, can you help me please?
Wow.
I want to do this.
I haven't done that yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe it's because I use public transport. It'd be a bit odd. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but still.
Funny, yeah. Yeah, nice.
I was wondering, as kind of a last thought, you mentioned that if we're in a world where people become more productive in a company in their way of working, you can reduce your 40-hour work week and you can be done, let's say, in 30 or 32.
Yeah.
Let's do a 20% deficit, 32. Would that mean that people would then work less or would they do more? Because I also feel like, definitely in this tech space, like people are getting burned out more and more. It's because there's too many thoughts that they kind of take with them at home and their brain is never off, and it like really affects their mental and in the end their physical as well. I feel like if you're going to do more and you're going to do it faster and you're not going to work less, then that's going to happen faster.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point what you mentioned there, because that is something where you really need to discuss in the beginning point as well with the ROI. So what do we want to achieve and why are we want to achieve that?
Yeah.
Because if you have like more time and you're going to work even more, I think we did that the same like when we started to working in the cloud. We get more time because we can work together on the same documents and blah, blah, blah. And we have saved time then because we have team meetings. But when I look at my calendar at this moment, it's even more.
It's full.
Then,
you don't work less at all.
So then I had like driving to a customer, and then can I make my head my space in my head a little bit down, and now it's like full
back to back.
I have also well sometimes a Teams meeting as well. So I think we only work more, and I think the same happens when we do that with Copilot or other AI tools. Or we're going to drink more coffee and going to talk more with each other. I think that's the good part, if we're going to talk more with each other. But it needs to be as well on the agenda in the forefront, knowing what are we going to achieve. And I hope that there are organizations going to say like, okay, we're going to achieve this. So for example, with HR is always one of the departments where we can achieve a lot with Copilot as well, with marketing, administration roles, that kind of things. Yeah, how great could it be if they say like 40, we can make it like 30, and you can do what more like in development or learning, or you can say, okay, make my day smaller and go to the gym. I don't know.
Yeah.
We always say that, but I think it's, again, it needs to be on the agenda from the strategy side.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't do that.
No, I feel like you need to be in a very profitable space, because if you have many competitors and those competitors are not doing that and they're still working, let's say 40 hours rapidly, then it's like, you can offer your employees 20% of like personal learning and development. But indeed, if you then look at an ROI and no one else is doing that, you really need to believe that that's going to pay you back in the end.
True.
That's the hard reality.
Yeah. And I think it can be.
I think so too.
But and I'm also curious, now we're talking about it, how is our life like in 5 years or in 3 years? I think because like Copilot is there like 1.5 year, 1 year. And I think a lot of things going to happen in this space as well. And I'm really curious what's going to happen if I think about the agents and the processes and all the other AI tools that are popping up. I think everyone just need to start with something, right? And need to figure out how they can use it and not because AI is taking them over, but they need to understand that it's going to help them and that you are in the forefront because you are the person who understands how it works, and not the person like in 3 years that you don't know how to start and how it all works.
Yeah, you'd be very far behind then.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then it's the new generation. I know it all.
Exactly. Yeah, it's similar to a tech boom. Like you still have people that don't really know how to operate a computer or anything digital. This might be the same happening right in front of us.
Oh, I have people that don't know how to put an attachment in an email.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's going to be, I mean, they're going to definitely be helped if they figure this out.
Yeah.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
This was a real blast, Femke. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
You're welcome.
In kind of this journey as we laid it out for Copilot and what's exciting about the future, is there anything missing that you still want to share?
The future of Copilot, what we're missing. What I want to share. Good question.
I always throw this curveball at the end for people.
Yeah. No, I think what I already mentioned is like, I think more things will come to us in the future. And it's good for people to step now on that train and understand that it's now the time to do that. When I think about the future, I think we all going to sit in a car or in a train talking with our co-pilots and make things happen. I think that will be the future for everyone. I hope.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I think times are exciting. Like definitely in a short amount of time. I haven't seen much change in organizations, but I feel like things are slowly cooking and brewing.
Yeah.
Like there's still the rat race from a tooling perspective to enable more and more. And organizations are experimenting and following through more and more.
Yeah.
So things are definitely going to ramp up soon.
Maybe final words on that. Start small and look at the people around you in the world, because there are so many use cases or examples and you don't have to figure it out all by yourself. There are so many people that are already doing. So many good people can help you with that as well. So I think there is fear, good to understand the market and knowing what you can do.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on and sharing. And I'm going to round it off here. If you're still here, let us know in the comment section what you think. Like the episode if you liked it. I'll put all Femke's socials in the description below. Check her out. Let her know you came from this episode. And we'll see you on the next one.